When you hear the name Bill Russell, you probably think of his towering presence on the basketball court, a player who led the Boston Celtics to 11 championships and changed the game forever. But Bill Russell was more than just a basketball legend. He was also a fierce advocate for civil rights and racial equality. Born in 1934 in Monroe, Louisiana, Russell grew up during a time of deep racial segregation in America. His experiences with racism shaped his worldview and ignited a passion for justice. As he rose to fame, Russell used his platform to push for change, not just in sports, but in society as a whole. During the 1950s and 60s, when the U.S. was in the midst of the civil rights movement, Bill Russell refused to stay silent. He was an outspoken critic of racism, whether it was in his personal life or in the sports world. In 1961, Russell made headlines when he boycotted a game after he and his black teammates were refused service at a restaurant in Lexington, Kentucky. This act of protest sent a clear message. Russell wouldn't play where he wasn't respected. Russell's activism didn't stop on the court. He was close to some of the biggest figures of the civil rights era, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Muhammad Ali. When Ali refused to fight in the Vietnam War, Bill Russell stood by him, along with other black athletes like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Jim Brown. They gathered in what became known as the Ali Summit, a show of solidarity and strength in the face of pressure. Despite being one of the greatest athletes of all time, Russell faced intense racism, even in his home city of Boston. His house was once vandalized, and he was subjected to racist taunts during games. But instead of letting this break him, Russell continued to speak out. He wrote articles calling out racial injustice in America, arguing that athletes had a responsibility to be involved in the fight for equality. For his efforts both on and off the court, Bill Russell was recognized as a true pioneer. In 2011, President Barack Obama awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, honoring his contributions to the civil rights movement and his dedication to using his voice to uplift others. Bill Russell was more than a champion on the court. He was a champion for justice. His legacy isn't just about his 11 rings, it's about his courage to stand up for what he believed in, even when it wasn't easy. As Russell once said, "You can't teach heart, you have to live it." And live it, he did. Bill Russell's impact will always be remembered, not just for changing basketball, but for helping to change the world.